Do not feel small, because you are not small. You are a big piece in this puzzle. I promise you that. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please be one of my besties and hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure you stay a while and share this video. If you are a returning subscriber, honestly, I can only say thank you because I've gotten so many new subscribers in like the last week. It's overwhelming, but it's so exciting, and I am just even more motivated to put out some more great, fresh new content for you guys. So today's video, which was kind of requested because I get a lot of questions about this situation, I'm kind of excited to talk about it because I've told a few people here and there about this, but let's really talk about it. As most of you know, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Michigan. I've been a real estate agent for 2 years now, and I've absolutely loved what I've done for the last 2 years. No, it has not been a breeze, but I learn more and more every single day that I am an agent, honestly. I just want to talk about the difference that it makes to make sure you have chosen the right brokerage. Now, this doesn't really get talked about as much in the world of new realtors or real estate agents. For some reason, I don't know why people don't talk about this that much, but to me, it impacted my journey a lot. And like I said, I've only been a real estate agent for 2 years, but I am with my 3rd brokerage, and this plans to be my last brokerage. And I honestly love where I am now. I have no complaints. Literally, I'm wearing our t-shirt. I am with Social House Group, and we're obviously in Michigan, and I couldn't be happier. I truly love my brokerage, but let me tell you why I love my brokerage, and then I can go into my horror stories of my last 2 brokers. And maybe this can help you if you are becoming a real estate agent, or you are searching for a broker, or maybe you need a sign on switching brokers. I don't know what the situation may be, but hopefully this may help you some kind of way somehow. So my current brokerage, Social House Group, we are honestly very close-knit, smaller broker, and we do all of our work digitally. There is no cold calling, there's no door knocking, I don't send out postcards, I don't do anything that the traditional realtor who's been in the game for 30+ years would tell you to do. We have a totally different approach, and it all has to do with social media. It has to do with social media. I'm not gonna get into like our secrets of the trade here. It's definitely something that caters more towards me and my generation, and my skill set, because I am very good with navigating social media. I'm very good with being a people person and being able to talk to people and market to people and, you know, make people feel comfortable with me when they give you the chance from social media. When you're doing things like cold calling, people are, first of all, their first impression is, how'd you get my number? Don't call me again. Hangs up on you. You don't even get your time to shine. Like, that was rude. Oh, you're gonna get 99 no's before you get a yes. I'm not calling 99 people to get hung up on, cussed out, all that, for that 100th person to say yes and then don't even qualify to get pre-approved. No. This generation is thriving off of the internet, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, Google, whatever, YouTube. This generation, and even the generations before us are kind of transitioning into this, and the generation after. I claim Team Millennial. I don't claim Team Gen Z, but I actually found out recently that there is this weird category in between called Zillennials. I'm that one. I'm a Zillennial. I do have some Gen Z tendencies, okay? They're kind of growing on me the more I am on TikTok, but I'm a millennial at heart. I was born in the 90s. I claim everything 90s. I claim all of the good music. I claim all of the good dances and the good movies and the good Disney movies. I don't know jack squat about the fact that we don't use the laughing emoji anymore. I'm a Millennial apparently, and I'm in between, and we are kind of like keeping everybody afloat, okay? We're keeping the Millennials afloat, we're keeping the Gen Zs afloat, we're keeping them from clashing against each other, and we're keeping the baby boomers and everybody before them in the loop, because they don't know what half of us are talking about anyway. I love that generation because we are able to be multifunctional. I can, if I wanted to, do cold calling. I can read from a script. I can do those things. Do I want to? No. Do I like the approach of social media better? Absolutely. It's fun, it's different, and it really allows you to be you and sell yourself in a fashion that doesn't immediately get turned down before it's even, you know, considered. It gets really exhausting, to say the least. Different brokers want you to do different approaches. That is just one of the main reasons why I absolutely love my brokerage, is because we're tailored to what's current and what is the future, honestly. Door knocking is not the future. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but it's not. Also, my brokerage is smaller and close-knit, and I will touch on like the size of brokers and how choosing the right size may be different for you, but I really love my brokerage because we are smaller and close-knit. There's enough agents to know everybody's name, and there's camaraderie, I guess, and there's just like, if you have questions, the person you need is available. They text you back, they answer the phone, they call you, they will walk you through every step. It's not like you're left in the dark. Let me just dive right into story time on my first 2 brokerages. So I was laid off from my 9-to-5 job where I was being paid great money. I was super comfortable, and they laid me off. You know, I was an at-will employee to them, which is what a lot of us are at our 9-to-5s, unfortunately. And as soon as I got laid off, I knew that I didn't want to feel that feeling again of being walked out of my job, having to pack up my desk. Literally, they didn't even give me till the end of the day. They paid me through the end of the day, but that was it. They didn't even pay me through the end of the week. It was just, that was it. You gotta go. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just 2 people were in my same position and they could only afford one. So the one with seniority stayed. Obviously that wasn't me. So I did not like that feeling whatsoever, and I knew I never really wanted to feel like that again. I didn't want my entire, you know, stability to be in the hands of somebody else to tell me, you know, we're done with you, we don't need you anymore, and now I don't have an income anymore. And they're like, oh yeah, you can file for unemployment, but you know, I filed for unemployment and literally was getting maybe 50% of what I was being paid before. It was hard. I just thank God that that's one of my testimonies, that he made a way. Child, out of no way. I don't know how he did that, but that ain't for me to worry about. I just know that it was something I never wanted to experience again. So that was really when the entrepreneur in me was born, honestly, when I was laid off. I know it's not like some fabulous story, and I feel like a lot of people have that story maybe, but I know personally for me, I never wanted to give somebody else the chance to hurt me like that again. So I became my own boss. I was like, okay, I've already taken my 40 hours of pre-licensing for real estate. I was like, I should do this. Now, I didn't pursue real estate before because I knew it could be a costly adventure, because you are really investing in a lot in real estate, and maybe I'll do another video on the actual cost of being a realtor, because it ain't cheap. But I was like, I don't have the money, the extra money to be a realtor back when I first took the course, and then now I was like, I really don't have the extra money. But the difference that it was my boyfriend, who you guys saw in the last video, he was in a better place to really kind of support me where I needed it. I mean, it was hard transition for me because I've never been the type, like, if you know me personally and you know my mom, my family, we don't rely on men. Like, I mean, everybody got a man, but we don't rely on men. It was just very hard for me to accept help. Yeah, it was really hard to accept help, but because he believes in everything that I do and he just wanted me to go after, he's like, okay, you know, let's do it. Let's get your real estate license. It's gonna pay you back way more than you're investing. It's gonna be worth it. I was like, you're right, you know, it's worth it. It's worth it. Oh. So I ended up studying my butt off, taking the test, passed the test, and I had a broker lined up before I passed the test. Mind you, I failed the first time, but the second time I passed. So I had a broker that I found on Indeed, and honestly, I didn't do much research. I just went with the first broker that I saw. Now here's a secret. I mean, it's not a secret, but pro tip. If you're looking at brokers on Indeed, all of them are gonna say make between $70,000 and six figures and $200,000 to $300,000. Let me tell you something, that's not a salary. That is not a salary. You are not guaranteed that. That is all about how much you produce, okay? They're not going to write you a check for that amount and direct deposit it every 2 weeks. No, ma'am. Okay, so obviously at the time I didn't really know that. So I just picked the first broker that looked good. She called me immediately. Like after I put in the application, she called me like within 10 minutes and did a phone interview and then asked me when did I want to come in for an interview. And I was like, I'm scared. I don't even have the license yet. But they were like, oh no, that's okay. You know, we will train you as soon as you get your license. So I was like, oh, bet. Like that's good. So I take the test, finally passed. Literally I called her in the car after I passed. And she's like, okay, we'll come in on Tuesday or whatever day of the week it was, and we'll start your training. I'm like, okay, like this is becoming real. Like I am a licensed real estate agent. What the heck? It's just really exciting. So I'm overjoyed. I'm a brand new real estate agent. I don't know jack squat about anything. So you could tell me that, you know, I need to wear a clown costume to showings and I probably would have did it because I didn't know. So I will tell you this too. What they teach you in school, you're barely gonna use that in the actual real world. Anyway, so moving forward, I am with this new brokerage, and I'm thinking everything's fine and dandy. I started with 2 other people. They were buyer's agents as well, kind of peculiar people. I started with 2 males. One was about my age and one was older, maybe in his 50s. Immediately I noticed that they weren't people persons. Like that's probably the first thing I noticed about another realtor is how well they work with people, because that is the entire job, is working with other people, making other people happy, you know, building relationships with other people. And I think that I'm really good at that, I'd like to say. But I think that I'm very good at understanding other people and building relationships with people. And immediately I noticed that these guys were, one was like super quiet and shy. Not saying he couldn't have done the job, but he was very, very quiet and shy. And then I ended up learning that, you know, he came back from like a hockey background. So it was like hockey to real estate. Interesting. But it was, he played professional hockey and I think he suffered a head injury, so he couldn't play anymore. So I guess this was his backup plan B. I don't know. The other guy had apparently come from another brokerage, but long story short, those 2 guys didn't last. And I kind of knew that from the beginning that they wouldn't. They had what we call in the field commission breath, meaning they got into the business simply to make money, not to help people. And I will be so honest with you, if you are only here to make money, you're going to fail. You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to be ready for the ups and the downs. If you can't handle the first curveball thrown at you, you're not gonna make it. It has to be rewarding for you on the inside, that by the end of the deal, it's not about the check they're gonna cut you, but it's about what you were able to accomplish for your clients. And those guys didn't have it in them. They just wanted the money. And also they didn't like the fact that you don't get paid right away. I'm sorry, you don't get paid hourly as an agent. You don't get paid anything until you close the deal and you get the commission. That's why you have to like what you do, because you're not getting paid right off the bat. Now moving forward about the brokerage itself. So this one was super small. Husband and wife, 2 listing agents, and they hired the 3 buyer's agent. So yes, they hired the 3 buyer's agents, but then those 3 buyer's agents bowed out, and then there was just me. So when those 2 agents left, after about 2 weeks of training, they quit. And then all of their work was dumped on me, aka all of the leads that they had were given to me. Now, to somebody that might be super exciting, like, well, you got tons of leads, like, you know, that should be tons of business. Like 75% of those leads were dead ends. They were super old. They were, no, I'm not ready to move. And then like 20% of them were people who didn't even qualify. So they might have been interested, but they were a waste of time. And then like the other 5%, I never got to them because it was just too much work. That 5% probably is where all the money was, but I never even got to it because it was so much work of having 3 people's leads dumped on you. It was like over 1,000 leads in one inbox, and you're expecting me to be able to do all of that at one time. And there's like deadlines and dates and things on these leads when they need to be contacted by. It was just really overwhelming. And it was hard because the husband and wife who trained me, they trained me on the bare minimum. If you know any real estate lingo, they only trained me to be a buyer's agent. They didn't train me on anything that had to do with listing a house. So basically from them, I was like traumatized after I left them about listings. I was too afraid to ever obtain a listing because I knew absolutely nothing about them. This agency trained me on literally how to just show houses. So I can't even say they trained me on being a buyer's agent well. They trained me on how to show houses. Like, I got clients and then I would take them out and we'd go see houses, and then they want to make an offer and I have no idea what to do. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, we'll make an offer. And they're asking me questions about, you know, like city regulations and taxes and this and that. And I'm like, you're speaking Spanish to me. But yeah, it was extremely discouraging, to say the least. So the harder part about it was like I was just thrown out there, and because it was such a small office, there were limited resources of people I could ask questions. And the husband and wife were always so busy because they were like the face of the town that we were in. They were very, very, very popular and high producing agents in that area. They listed everybody's house. They were known for their face, who they were. You saw them in everybody's front yard, and they were very popular. They're very good at what they do, but they're super busy. And they're like in their late 60s, no kids, none, like no kids. Just like 3 dogs. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them not having kids, but it just shows that they were so consumed with their business that they never stopped to do those things. It was just about work, work, work for as long as they can remember. They were agents for so long. So yeah, and it's kind of like, I think they were just at a point where they just expect people to know things, and I'm brand new, you have to tell me. And if I have questions, it will be nice if you'd answer the phone, but they never answered the phone for me, ever, or return texts, or voicemails. It wasn't unless you put them on an email and attach somebody else to the email who'd see that they're not responding did they feel obligated to respond. And the other listing agents, and there was 1 out of 2 listing agents, he was very nice and he was very helpful. But the other one, she was like, she thought it was cute to be rude and thought it was funny to be mean. And no, I don't know you like that. Don't joke with me like that. We ain't close. I just need help. And if you don't want to help me, then I'm not going to ask you. So by the time I was completely fed up with this office, I decided to leave. And I didn't come in and leave. I didn't do any of that. I just sent a long email stating that I'm done. I'm out. Before I did send that, I had interviewed with another office. And this was a much, much, much bigger name office. Again, I won't say the name of this office, but it is a big office around the world. So I was interviewing with them, and I sat in on one of their team meetings, and it was awesome. Everybody remembered my name off of like one visit. It was just, I felt noticed and I felt important. So it wasn't hard to convince me that this is where I needed to be. I'm making the switch. So yeah, long story short, I sent that email to the broker saying that I was leaving, and then I finally get a phone call. I finally deserve a phone call now that I'm quitting. And she's saying like, you never reach out for help, you don't respond to emails, you're defensive, It's always the black girl who's defensive. I honestly feel like there was a race thing in question here, and it didn't come out until obviously they were white, and it didn't come out until I quit and I sent that email, because then it was, oh, you're always so defensive and you're so this and you're so that and aggressive. Child, do y'all think I'm aggressive? Defensive, maybe. I can be defensive if I feel like you're being, I feel like you're walking all over me. You're trying to walk all over somebody else. I'll stand up. I'll open my mouth for sure. But yeah, it just was like, I don't regret this. And that's another thing. Let me tell y'all, if you're still watching this far, first of all, I love you. Thank you. But that's one thing, is do not feel like you are obligated to stay with a brokerage. You're not at all. It's not like a job where you have to give 2 weeks notice and things like that. You can literally, your brokerage is at will of you. You can change brokers at any time. Anytime. And it's not really like super frowned upon. Obviously, I'm not saying, try 10 brokers a year, because no, it's not the right one for you, then it's not the right one for you. Okay? Nobody's gonna be mad. Nobody's gonna care. Just switch. So yeah, I get to this new brokerage, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling like, things are gonna be different. And long story short, I stayed with that broker for about a year, maybe, before I realized that it wasn't where I wanted to be either. And I will say this, I don't have anything like horrible to say about this broker. They have immaculate training. The training is great. They teach you so much, and it's always constant training. Like at the other one, it was just like 2 weeks when you got there and that was it. This brokerage, you're constantly doing classes, constantly doing trainings. They had an 8-week training that my broker paid for me to go to, which was like $800, paid for me to go to. And it was super helpful, super informative. Like, I don't regret that at all. It was amazing. The people there are also super smart, very knowledgeable, endless resources. My only complaint was I thought I was going to like this bigger brokerage because I have more people to lean on, more people who aren't so self-absorbed. Like, if one person can help me, then somebody else can. Because at the other one, there was only, so many people, I could count them on one hand. It was like they were also wrapped up in their own stuff. It was hard to get help. It was because it was a close-knit brokerage. It was going to be super easy for them to notice me, train me, mold me in their image, which I'm glad they didn't. But yeah, no, that wasn't it. So you get to the bigger brokerage and you think it's going to be the opposite. You think it's going to be different. And basically you just get forgotten about after when you're no longer the new and exciting agent, who they have to train and to mold. You kind of just get forgotten about, even if you still don't know everything. Because it's like, well, who do I go to? I feel like I'm so lost and I don't have help. There was maybe one individual, she was very good at responding to me and helping me, but it just kind of started to feel like I was a burden on her, and it just didn't work. You know. And I actually have a friend who I love dearly. She's amazing. And she's also a newer realtor. And I referred her to this brokerage after, I spoke so highly of them. I love them. They're great. And I mean, they are great. I ended up referring her, and she got her license and she joined my brokerage too. And she kind of noticed the same things I noticed, but then I noticed from a different perspective that it seemed like they gave her way more attention than they even did me. Even though she wasn't getting, still full attention, they still gave her more attention than they ever did me. Included her on more things that they ever did me, invited her to more things that they ever did me, and I was there for over a year and she was there for 3 months. Again, I won't play the race card, even though I want to, because I don't 100% know. But I will say that there are times where you can tell where you're not equal to other people and you're not treated the same as other people. And it's hard. It's really hard because you want this so bad and you feel like your success is relying on people that don't even notice you. So it's almost impossible to be successful unless you figure it out yourself. I will say that where I am now, completely different story. There's so many people of different backgrounds and cultures that it's impossible to try and say, oh, I feel like I'm not getting this because of, where I come from. There is entirely Like, I mean, with the last brokerage, yes, there are so many people of different backgrounds, but the people that were in like the main circle, the internet close-knit family of, you know, the top producers there, no, there are not many that look like me. Barely. The ones that do look like me, they're doing okay. They're just getting by. They're figuring it out for themselves. But me, I chose not to stay. I chose not to settle. And where I am now, it's all-inclusive package over here. And again, I don't regret where I am now. I do feel that this is where I will become a millionaire producer. I'm claiming it. I'm speaking it into existence that I will be in the top 5%. I will be a multi-million-dollar real estate producer. But yes, all of this is just to say that do your research on your brokerage. Make sure that's who you want to go with. And if you get there and you thought it was, you know, all roses and daisies and it's not, it's okay to switch. Do not feel tied down. Do not feel pressured. And do not be afraid to take a stand for yourself, speak up for yourself, and tell them how you feel. Tell them what you believe in, and do not change what you believe in for anybody or any of these brokers. Just don't. Be true to yourself and really, really make sure that you allow who you are to shine in your business, and do not feel small, because you are not small. You are a big piece in this puzzle. I promise you that. I promise you. If you made it to the end of this video, again, I love you. And if you made it to the end of this video, at this point, you might as well just go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. So that is all for today, guys. I will see you next time in another video. Bye.